live? Am I live? Well, we'll see. I hope it's live. I had a bit of a technical problem there. It scared me. I don't see myself though. Yet. But we'll see. There. Oh. Oh, there I am. Live. Okay, I hear myself. Sorry about that. It all crashed right before, and I got scared. All right, hello, everyone. Hello, Austin. Oh, whoa, Austin with the first super chat. I will get to that in a second. Hello, Austin, Cornbread, B. Parker, Paleo. Nice to see you, man. El Mono Loco, B. Parker. Again, sorry. Sleepy Time 4Cat Productions. Sinram. I will make these 30 minutes count. I hope. I saw that. Zane Powers. I say Blood T. Everyone, it is very good to be back doing Movie Crap Live. And let's do. Can we do the fade? Oh, look at that. Sorry about literally. Oh, Zodberg. Hello, Cornbread. Literally everything crashed. I was so ready, and I was gonna come early, and everything fell apart. Very funny. Okay. Hello, Ashley Rose. Did I say that right? Ashley Ross. Wow. Okay, sorry. Adrian, hello. The Rocket Lobax. Ryan Walterson. What is this? Summer 2020. Nice, Ryan Walterson. Hello. Welcome back to Movie Crap Live. It's been a little bit. Had a son since last time. But yeah, it's good to be back on this, doing this again. But anyway, I want to say thank you all very much for, yeah, they're kind of in the same place, Cornbread. All right. Okay. Anyway, I want to say thank you everyone for watching all the videos, for sticking with me, for being so cool, and also for the great reception I got for, Film Rod Video, my new cartoon. That was amazing. We're going to go over a lot tonight. It's going to be typical show length. We're going to get into all that stuff. But the first major change, there are some changes. Hello, Chan Talks the shit you don't. That was nice. Whoa, okay, there's a lot of them. Let's get to some of these super chats. Now, I used to do Red Bulls, but, I have 2 kids now. I'd prefer to stay alive and not have my heart explode. So I'm just moving to different sodas each week. I thought originally I was going to find a Jolt soda, and I found out that they don't, I couldn't find one in time. So I came up with this idea like today. So I just have the lame, they're not a sponsor. I'm not cool like that or anything, but it's a Coca-Cola Starlight. I have a cooler one that's like, like a different kind of soda. I'm going to do that, and I found one for next time. But this is just what we're doing. I know it's like lame. This is going to be a little rough because I'm coming back. But also, I don't know if this will explode because it was in my bag. It didn't. Okay, I was really... I had a thing here just in case. Well, like I'm a dad, which I am. Anyway, this is not the greatest soda, but I'll just... take us away this. All funnier ones we're seeing. But Austin, first super chat of the night, said, he alive. I am. Cheers to you. And let's do the other ones. Hello. The Lord of Red Bull has returned. I guess I have with whatever this is. I think most people can get this. And then the Westonator said, welcome back, Jimothy. We missed you. I missed you as well. Not as cool as Red Bull, but I think I might try Jim should go visit the Coke Museum in Motown next time. So I was thinking of that. Maybe what I'll try to do is like find different ones around New York City. And there's 2 I found super near me, and I'll get crazier as we go on. I just can't. I just can't do that. But Oh, he alive. Okay, he alive. Okay, thank you, Austin. Sorry, I'm dumb. So that's basically why I'm doing that. I wasn't sure what to do. I was like, I could just drink a coffee. And I was like, that doesn't work with the bit. I'm going to burn my face. Uh, so I didn't want to do that. But anyway, yeah, my son is 10 months now. He's doing great. He's amazing. He has such a wonderful smile, and he's fun to play with, as little babies do. Sophie's doing great. We're reading comics together sometimes. That's amazing. Whole family's doing good. Trying to make our way through. In general, doing good. But let's look at. There's a bunch to talk about tonight, and I want to try to get through everything. Cornbread says, honestly, coffee could be cool too. You know what's interesting? I found out I have the Garfield lead paint mugs, which is which was ones I was regularly using for a while, and now I'm kind of trying not to. So anyway, discount Viscount. What rapper should collab with Gorillaz next? You know who I've gotten really into, and I think is probably a rapper that does not get the respect he deserves, is AZ. He's most prominent on Illmatic. He basically, if you take the lyric sheet of Life's a Bitch, it's pretty much him. The chorus is him. The verse you remember is him, and then Nas. So AZ should be on everything. He's amazing. I've been listening to Doe to his first album a lot. I really like it. Okay, whoa, we got a bunch of super chats right now. Have you ever tried cold brew or just ice? Okay, hold on. But discount, you get the first drink there. That was a good question. Thank you for that. I hope I answered. I thought that was a good one. Anyway, cheers to you. Or actually, Lil Wayne would do. I mean, I know that's a basic person, but Lil Wayne's still a great rapper. Jim, when can we expect you to give birth to Jim Jr.? I can't give birth to anyone. I should see Jim Jr. bits were funnier. I did have a son. That was a funny bit though. I've thought of bringing him back. We'll see. We never know when I bring some people back. But cheers to you, St. Powers. Whoa, I got a bubble. Anyway, I'm regretting some of this. Is this grosser than Red Bull in a way? A guy named Crystal Light said, wait, is this not a guy named Crystal? Is this like I'm confused by that. But hey, Jim, really enjoyed Film Rod Video. Thank you very much, and thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it. I will, in a second, tell you more about that, actually. And Classic Cameron just gave $1. Thank you, Classic Cameron. You are classic, of course. Jim, have you ever tried cold brew or just iced coffee? I have. Wow, there's a bunch of these. Thank you so much. I have. I'm not the biggest fan. I might do that at some point. I kind of thought it'd be funny to do because I know sometimes people do that, but since I'm actually showing them, it might be funnier in my mind. The only one I do that is maybe not as known to Americans that I'm a big fan of is no, I can't remember it. Lucasade. Sorry, Lucasade. I really like Lucasade. So that one might, but that's kind of lame to say that. So, but maybe I should try a cold brew. But I do like iced coffee. I like my Dunkin', man. So cheers to you, Sinram. And Austin says, I want to thank you for all the great reviews, and the interview got me through university, and now I'm officially a cinema and media arts graduate. Congrats to Austin. Everybody in the chat, maybe give some claps and stuff to Austin. Great guy, of course. And that's amazing. Congrats on that, man. Cheers to you. Rabbit Ears Vlog. How's it going? I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope you're doing well. Said, glad to see you back on Movie Crap, Jim. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. Okay. So let's get into what's going on now. So basically, how is this back? How is film? What's going on Film Rod Video? All that stuff. I want to say the segment tonight is just sort of a channel update going over that, but to briefly understand what's going on, because if you're just watching this part, I want everyone to know this will also be posted on Twitter and things like that. So it will be out there, but just to sort of explain it very quickly, this is kind of, I've been planning this as sort of a launch. Whoa. Whoa. Sorry about that. Sort of launch. That air bubble hit me. When those air bubbles hit. A launch sort of event for the cartoon. And it's not just you're getting the pilot and a theme song and then you have to wait 4 months. That's not the plan. This is going to take over 4 weeks, basically, starting, this is the end of the first week. You didn't know that, and now I'm telling you. Next week is the theme song. That's happening next. Hold on. I have this in my notes. I got to scroll down so I don't say, like, wrong dates. That would not be so good, would it? The theme song comes out this Thursday. For patrons, it comes out on Wednesday. So if you're a patron, you get 24 hours in advance. And then the other ones are episode 1 is coming out in 2 weeks. That is on July 7th. And for patrons, July 6th. And the song from episode 1 is coming out on July 14th. These are, of course, all done. Don't worry. But that is what is going on. There's going to be a Movie Crap Live the Saturday preceding each of those Thursdays. This is all part of an event thing. Movie Crap Live is not necessarily back weekly because I love doing the show. I love talking to you, but it's also very hard to do the show to the quality I want to on a regular basis and having kids and all that. So after the 4 weeks, it'll probably be a couple weeks till there's another one. They'll probably be more like monthly kind of event things. And then the Saturday after Film Rat Video episodes come out. And there might be exceptions for that, but we'll see. But that's kind of the deal. They'll be semi-regular, but not as every weekly right now because I have 2 kids, I have a wife, I have a cartoon now, and my 3rd cartoon. So that is what is going. That's what the deal is, basically. So I don't know when the August date will be. I will say that before the 4 weeks are up. I just haven't figured it out. But that's the deal. So I just wanted everyone to know. I will go in more detail about that a little later. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. Also, Film Video Cletus Fetus. Film Video is a little new. I'm going to have a big channel update later. And if you're part of my Patreon, I'm sorry I'm repeating this stuff so often. But I wanted to clear that up at the beginning. And so forth. I'll probably say what I said in more detail. So I'm sorry if later you get bored and see the segment thing later and all that. There's probably also, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, I don't want to take too much, my camera. I don't want to take too much of the time on that early on. The other, no, I went down and I messed everything up. Okay. Let's do before we do the whole thing where I list the socials and hello Matthew Hernandez and Naked HD, hello to you too, I guess. What was I gonna say? Okay. Before I get into everything, I really want to give an extra special shout out to before for all that other stuff is Ryan Walterson, who helps me a lot with this show. Who helps me out with this show and so many other things. Big thank you to Ryan Walterson. I'm sure he doesn't like it when I say these things publicly as much as I do, but he's a great guy. And extra shout out to Ryan Walterson. I actually we met up in person since the last Movie Crap, and it was really cool. And his mom was very nice as well. Great people, I gotta say. Okay. So, first off, if you would like to support this and everything I do, you can do it through 2 ways. Either through the Patreon, where you get exclusive videos like commentaries, updates, all sorts of cool things like that. Postcards. I don't do the Skype calls anymore, which everyone who gets one knows, I believe. You get to vote on the movie review vote, 24-hour early Film Rat Video, all sorts of things like that. For $1 and up, you can get all those things. There are various other tiers, but you can also do a super chat during the show. It really helps me be able to pay for new equipment, keep the show going, keep the lights on with the channel, everything like that. And I very much appreciate you spending your hard-earned dollars on this content and stuff. I really, really very much appreciate it, as well as, keeping Film Route Video going, Sorry, itch my nose there. Also, you can follow me on Twitter for any updates, as well as I have a TikTok now. I don't know if it's in the description of this, but if you're watching this later, it definitely is. And there's going to be, starting tomorrow night, there's going to be a kind of a cut down clip version of the first episode of Film Route Video on my TikTok. There's like 2 videos. One is the Mando song, and then a clip of Toulouse, my cat. So those are going to go up. So if you're on TikTok anyway, just follow me. The link is in the description of the first episode of Film Route Video. I should come up with a shorter name, FRV or something. And you can follow me there, as well as Instagram, which will also have those clips, or at least the first one's going to go there, and Twitter and all that. But I also got to give an extra special shout out to the Discord. It is, frankly, a really wonderful Discord. I'm really proud of it. I just posted in the Novelty Playing Cards channel. I have, sorry, I'm like bumping all over the place. I have these cards here. They're like Andy Warhol cards. You can see them better on the Novelty Playing Card channel on my Patreon, which is amazing. As well as you can see the test I did last night to see if all my streaming stuff still worked is actually in the announcement section, where if you want to make sure you've seen all my videos, they're in upload order there. If you're like, you can also click on my channel, but if you're like there anyway, you can see. But I know that one, I think that's the only place the link is still there, and I didn't delete it, and I thought, let's just leave it there. So, so yeah, you should check that out. But it's run very well by Zane Powers and Austin, who do an amazing job. Check out General. They do movie nights on Fridays. There's the Ask Jim section where I try to answer everyone's questions. If I do not get to your question here, literally just go there and ask. I will answer it. I do answer every single question there. It's a great community, and they do a great job of running it. Anyway, yes. Before we get into the show, I would be, I think, it's hard to kind of talk about all this stuff with what's going on with Roe v. Wade being overturned. I obviously do not agree with that by any means, and I'm not really very happy with what's going on in this country, and I'm honestly very scared about the future entirely of what we're going to do in this country. I think it's honestly very shameful. I think this country does not represent any sort of freedom if that is how they're going to treat women and their bodies, and I'm not sure really what the future is of this country, and I don't feel great about it. But I understand you watch me probably not to hear politics. I know people don't like YouTubers talking about politics. I would feel inappropriate not acknowledging it at all. I've seen a lot of YouTubers trying to just ignore it. I don't personally agree with that, but I also understand, like, there's a lot going on. You just want a break, and that's fine. And I want to do the movie news thing, and that's what I'm going to do. But I couldn't just, in all good conscience, just not admit that's what's going on. And as as stupid as this sounds, as the guy who co-created Cleese the Fetus, I don't agree with that at all. But I will say one thing that's going to be reality, at least hopefully for now. Oh, my cards. And as everything goes on, I know people have been throwing out film recommendations, and it's usually just like film that has abortion in it, and ones that aren't really dealing with the issues of what's going on now. And like Obvious Child is one of my favorite romantic comedies. If you've never seen Obvious Child, you should see Obvious Child. It is, I think, one of the best romantic comedies of the past decade. But Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always is probably a film that I think is probably, if you have not seen it, I didn't do a review, which I 100% regret. And after I do this whole kind of launch thing, I probably will in the next couple of months, because I'm a little embarrassed of myself, because I think it is, I think it's a great movie. It's about a girl who does travel to New York City to get an abortion, travels across state lines to do that. That's the reality of a lot of people right now, and it's going to be the reality for the immediate future. And I think it's a film that does that really well. And I'd say, if you want to actually, we're all going to these extremes and say, what about these victims and what about this specific case? This is a thing that is, if you look at Twitter, you look at social media, this is a thing a lot of people are having to do this weekend and are having to do this week. Kind of, not to say normal or whatever, but the thing that's going to happen to most women is they're going to have to do this. And I think it categorizes what I've heard of those trips. I have never dealt with something to that degree of crossing state lines for something like that. But from my very limited understanding, it is, and kind of the strangeness of that trip and everything. It's a really great movie. If this had never, if Roe v. Wade hadn't been overturned, I still would have thought it's a really great movie. But I would recommend that because it will actually bring up the issues. It's not just to say, here, watch a movie, take your mind off of it. If you want to deal with these sort of things, I think it's a great one. I believe it is on Prime right now. So if you have Prime, check it out. Please go to a protest, support what you can, and do what you can, and just help people out and talk to them about it. I think that's probably one of the best things people need right now, but understand that what they're doing is majorly the amount of poverty and suffering and awfulness that we have inflicted upon this country is something that I think will sadly probably ruin several generations. So I hope that's not the case, but it doesn't look good right now. Anyway, I don't know how to transition out of that. I just didn't want to not say anything. I thought that would be a dumb idea to not say anything. So I hope you're cool with that. But let's, not that, anyway, I just, couldn't not do it. So, let's just do it. Okay, so they found the lost Sesame Street with the Wicked Witch, or at least we knew it was found. It was at the Library of Congress. It had just been released. You could schedule to watch it at the Library of Congress. And Blood Tea. Sorry, you're right about that one, and I haven't seen that one. I should see that one. That's a good point. I haven't seen it. Blood Tea. Thank you for another recommendation. But people have other recommendations on what to do on this. Please say so in the chat and spread that information. Okay, so Sesame Street. There was a lost episode of Sesame Street with Margaret Hamilton, who was the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. She came to Sesame Street, talked to Big Bird, all this stuff, and we had heard it was able to watch in the Library of Congress, and then a few days later, it was leaked on YouTube, kind of famously. And this was supposedly the clip that was so scary. No kids could stand it. All kids were too terrified of this episode. And much like I think a lot of things with hype of these things, I don't actually think it's very scary. What? I'm confused by something there. Okay, anyway, threw me off. I don't think it's actually that scary, but it is pretty notorious, and I didn't realize this, is the only time anyone from The Wizard of Oz came back and in costume and did anything with one of the characters. That never got done after like the most famous movie ever. I saw a couple videos on it. I read a few things on it, as well as I didn't know that there was an intro the first time from Judy Garland, one of the stars, when they first aired it. Like, they tried to make it a big deal, and of course that made it like the most watched film of all time, basically. But I did watch the clips of just The Wicked Witch. I did not watch the one, the whole episode, which you also can do. And Austin's right. She did do an episode of Mr. Rogers. What is interesting is I did learn Margaret Hamilton was very pro-education. She was a kindergarten teacher. Can you imagine? You're like, who's your kindergarten teacher? The Wicked Witch of the West. That's funny. I'm like, she was actually very nice. Apparently she was very nice. She was very pro-education. That's why she would do Sesame Street. She was on the board of education in California later. And she was apparently pro-Sesame Street from what I've heard. And which is also notable because, and they don't mention this in the they don't mention this in most Sesame Street, but apparently a lot of the, I guess the greatest generation or the generation pre the boomers who were my grandparents apparently didn't like Sesame Street and thought it was like kind of hurting education because of the quick cuts and stuff. And they're like, it's like, apparently I read one thing was like, it's like junk TV. And I was like, yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to be like commercials and stuff, so it gets through to kids. It was like, how, I don't understand. Like when my parents told me that much later that my grandparents felt that way about it, and I was like, yeah, but that is what it is. Anyway, it's cool of her that she was able to like understand what it is. She sounds like a really smart lady. Oh, we have a super chat from the non-binary neckbeard. That's a name. Says, long time no see, Jim. Good to see you back. Thank you very much. Good to be back. Cheers to you. Semi regret this soda. Okay. But basically what it is the Wicked Witch comes to Sesame Street. I think his name is David. Ryan Walterson will definitely correct me during this one. As he should. And she deals with Oscar, who thinks she's really cool, as well. Oscar the Grouch, not my son. And Big Bird. So Carol Spinney's all up in this episode, you guys. I believe it's David and Maria have to deal with her and have her broom, and then they have to get it back and all this stuff. So I watched it, and obviously I have kids, and my reaction to it and doing the research was like, I actually think my daughter would like to see this because she likes Wizard of Oz, and it's the only sequel to the Wizard of Oz, and it's on Sesame Street. And I think 70 Sesame Street is really good. We don't talk about how good that is. So if I was HBO Max, I would be looking at this and like, we're getting all this press. Like, people who never talk to me about old stuff or lost media were texting me and messaging me about this. And it kind of, to me, is like, you have this grassroots thing. It's on YouTube. Like, HBO Max, restore it, put it up. Like, or just put it up now and then restore it later. Like, just, to me, it's stupid to act like... And they also, by the way, own The Wizard of Oz. They push that as they're selling HBO Max because it is the most seen film of all time. It's a film anyone can watch. So the idea that they're not is kind of, I think, sort of silly. I sort of think this is supposedly they showed it to kids and people wrote in and stuff. I don't think it was that scary. I know people do get really scared by the Wicked Witch of the West, and Margaret Hamilton does an amazing job that people are still scared by her performance all these years later. But I also think I know there's a thing at the end where her broom is in Sesame Street. They should do a callback to that at some point. But yeah, I quite liked it, but I think it'll probably live on because it's a decent episode and it is the Wicked Witch of the West coming back, the actual actress, like, and I think yeah, I part of me thinks, will this be like Crybaby Lane, where it was such a thing for a few years and then Nick aired it and all the hype of that, which was considered lost media. And do people know, people in the chat, tell me if you know what Crybaby Lane is. That was like in 2011. I think I have a review of it in might be in one of the old review omnibuses or something. I'm not sure now. I know I reviewed it on YouTube, but that was the thing that everyone said was too scary and Nick only aired once. And after you watch, you're like, no, I think it just wasn't good. And they're just like, why do that again? You know what I mean? But I'm wondering if this will be like that, because you build up hype and you build up a narrative and no one's seen it, and then it leaks and you're like, yeah, okay. And it just doesn't live up to the hype. You know, I feel like I think this, I think this isn't a letdown. I only there's a YouTube video that's just the clips of the Wicked Witch of the West. I actually want to watch the full episode of Sesame Street because I think Older Sesame Street is great. And I like when I watched, was it Christmas Eve on Sesame Street? That was wonderful. And it's way crazier than it is now. Way crazier. So yeah, I think this is great. It's a cool revelation. It's cool that everyone's excited about a lost Sesame Street or old Sesame Street in general. And I highly recommend watching it. I think it's good. I think you could show it to kids. We're going to watch just the Wicked Witch clip one probably tomorrow or at some point. But I don't think it's that scary. If you ask me, I don't think it's that scary. I don't know what's scary about it. You know, she does threaten to turn people into stuff, like Big Bird into a feather duster and David into a basketball, but she doesn't do it. And it doesn't get that scary. But it's also like massively cool of her to put on the green makeup and show up on Sesame Street. It's probably more of a great gesture at the time, considering her peers were probably like, this is a junk show that's ruining kids, and I'm going to show up as my most famous character. That's pretty cool. I know she refers to it in Mr. Rogers. I don't think she showed up as Mr. Rogers, but bread, milk, butter, nice, Austin. All right, let's move on. Oh no. I hate when my little notes thing goes and you're going down several pages just because. Okay. So let's talk about Chris Meledandri of Illumination. This is sort of a side issue, but I didn't want to like bring up a bunch of Illumination crap later. First off, he said, I don't know if you realize that's a Universal thing, which is Peacock. Peacock, despite being potentially the worst major streaming service right now. I don't know why I laugh at that, but I mean, yeah. We'll get in more to that in the streaming thing, but he said he, at a big movie exhibitors thing, I think in Europe or something, he said made exhibitors in the room feel happy when he said Universal honchos never considered skipping theaters with Minions, The Rise of Gru, or Sing 2, which also went to theaters, or any other of his movies to launch it on their studio streamer, Peacock. So, which, yeah, but if you look at the numbers on Peacock, I'm sure they're like, why did we tell him? What the fuck? Oh, not plausible. It was nice seeing you for a little bit. Thank you for being here. But he also said, talked about the Chris Pratt. I keep dropping stuff, and they need to. Okay, get that over there. Yeah, whatever. He also talked about the Chris Pratt Mario thing, which apparently he thinks is a good idea to have Chris Pratt as Super Mario. Okay, so he said, you know what I think of is it's like I am not the biggest. I'm not the biggest Anthony Fantano fan or anything. He's fine. I don't have anything against him. But he did a review of when Elon Musk hosted SNL and played, I think, Wario, and they did like these horrible Italian accents. And then he reviewed Grimes's doing it, and he was like, "That." Anyway, I've watched that video way too many times. It just makes me laugh when he's like, "Oh my god, my sweet mom." All right, sorry. Random YouTube videos that you watch over and over again because you get a chuckle and you don't think anyone cares. So this is the content you get from me. Oh, Catbot158 says, "Just want to say welcome back, Jim." Thank you, Catbot158. Cheers to you. I need a funnier soda. This bit works better with a funnier soda. Coke Starlight. Why is that called Coke Galaxy? I'm talking about Mario. Jesus. All right. He said, this is what Chris Meledandri said. Chris was cast because we felt he could give a great performance as Mario. Or should I read it in a Mario voice? Maybe I will audition because apparently anyone can be Mario. So you go, Chris was cast because, hey, it's me, Mario. We felt he could give a great performance as Mario. And now that we've done about 15 recordings, it just sounds like the count. I'm just going to keep doing this. 15 recording sessions, and the movie is 3/4 done. Ha ha ha. I sit here and I say that I love his performance as Mario. Oh, and he said, considering he had Italian-American heritage. What? Did he? Does he? I don't think eating pizza a couple times counts, but I'm anyway. I feel I can make the decision without worrying about offending Italians or Italian Americans. I think we're going to be just fine, especially because Pratt has given a strong performance. Anyway, sounds like he thinks it's a really good idea and not a terrible idea that they should never. Why would Why would you keep? I like he's like digging his heels. Like, no, Chris Pratt's gonna. Mm. All right, I is he Italian? Or Pratt doesn't say. You know what? I don't know. I don't know. He better have rubber bands hanging off of his fucking face. If he doesn't have that, then fuck Illuminate. You know what I mean? Like, forget this whole thing. Throw it in the garbage. We don't need it. It's Illumination. Illumination. Look, I've seen them all. They're not. They're not. They're not good. So why did you not talk to Pixar? I don't. Whatever. All right. Um. So there was. It's so bad. I just don't get it. Wake up this morning, made myself a sub. I don't know what that. I just did that like I'm the guy from. Woke up this morning. All right. Um. The Peacock did sort of a Minions doing the Office theme. It's sort of cute. It also reminded me that like The Office has stayed viral without having much involvement for Peacock. Do you know anyone who's like, man, I love watching The Office on Peacock? I feel like most people are like, I love watching The Office on regular TV. I'd much rather pay for that than fucking Peacock. It was like interesting. I was like, none of that when I watched it did anyone go, oh right, because The Office is on Peacock. Everyone go, that's funny. We all know The Office from me not watching it on Peacock. This has really become me shitting on Peacock a lot. All right, next. Kevin Feige says Marvel is coming back to Comic-Con this year. What that means, we don't really know. I'm curious because although Thor Love and Thunder is the next thing and everyone's pretty sure that's going to make money, probably. Am I right? Most likely. The big question, and it's something I brought up a lot on Twitter a couple times, is we don't know anything about Wakanda Forever, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And it is such a question mark. Now, part of me thinks without Chadwick in it, and depending on what this is about, and everyone says it's Namor, even and it's like a secret. I don't know who would play Namor, except for '90s Pierce Brosnan, but I guess we can't do that because time travel is like still a secret. Um, I'm curious. I still think if it made 50% of what the original made, that's still a massive blockbuster. But we'll see what's going on with Wakanda Forever. I'd expect a trailer for that either before Thor Love and Thunder or that. People are strongly suggesting it's going to have something to do with Blade, which I think that's a little far off. I think we might hear the Fantastic Four director before we'd hear much about Blade. I just don't see much happening with Blade yet. I don't know if there's a date for that. Maybe we'll get a date for Blade, something like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we got like an X-Men logo. That's my predictions. But I'm curious if they'll do Wakanda Forever with Thor Love and Thunder, or they'll do Wakanda Forever at Comic-Con, because them coming back to Comic-Con, to me, means they're going to be throwing down some shit. I'm curious what that is going to be. Maybe a Guardians 3 trailer. Yeah, maybe do Wakanda Forever. Or would it make more sense to do a Guardians 3 trailer in front of Thor and do Wakanda at Comic-Con? Yeah, actually, it would make more sense to do it that way. Yeah, it would make a lot more sense to do it that way. Huh. I'm curious what they're going to do. We shall see. But I don't think they can release 2 trailers in front of Thor. So I think we're going to see something. We're going to see some big announcements. That's my prediction with that. Next in comic book movie newsy things, Ezra Miller. I don't know if you've been reading, despite everything else and our basic rights all being taken away from us. Hey, Medela Butterfly. Ezra Miller is an insane, crazy person and has like 3 kids in a place with a ton of guns. He's been harassing people. He's getting arrested all over Hawaii. Basically, what's going to happen is Warner Brothers has said he's out after this movie, regardless of, if this is all cleared up or anything like that, or if he never faced charges. He's out. It's over. The question now is, what do they do with Flashpoint? Now, they haven't really said, they're more just like, he's not cast anymore. I think if they're going to do something like digitally take him out, they have to start making those calls now, which they haven't. But I also keep seeing reporters float into reports. They said, should they consider HBO Max? I will say with that bit of information, how it's being placed is probably key to it because, oh, sorry. Thank you, Ryan Welcherson. I will say they, them with Ezra. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. But with the Ezra Miller situation with them, I think they might have to digitally take them out of the movie. I think that's probably the best choice because you have Michael Keaton returning, you have Ben Affleck. It's too box office wise. You can't just let that go. I think that's something they have to reckon with. But I think I think they need to go. Ezra Miller needs to just be digitally removed from it. There's no turning back at this point. You can't. I know they've said they're not going to have them do reports, stuff like that. But they've said they're not going to have him do publicity. So to me, it's like, what are we gaining by having him in a $200 million movie at this point? His career is over. Get him out of that movie. I think it's I think it's essential at this point. I'm not sure how that situation is going to end. It doesn't look like it's going to end well. It seems insane. I can't believe Ezra Miller is going to possibly be involved in a Waco type situation. It's just not something I saw. Like, of all the things I didn't see coming, that was one of them. I think they are a great actor, but I don't think this is worth. This is a bunch of nonsense. I think they need to seek professional help and they need to be cut out. They need to just be cut out of the movie. They're not mentally stable enough to be in a big movie like that. I just don't think. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, they need to go, and that's the end of it. Just they can be in the beginning, and then the Flash runs fast, and it's a different person. Fine, I don't figure it out. Just they need to go. I think that's the whole. That's the end of it. But they're considering options. But it sounds like at the least, they're considering releasing it, and they don't do press. But how do you talk around that? You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, okay. So, Odd1sout has a show on Netflix. I'm going to admit something. Everyone was like, "Can you believe they have a show?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't." And then I messaged Ryan Welcherson and go, "Hey, I've never watched this YouTube channel. This is a real thing that happened today. What are some things I should watch?" So I watched the Subway videos, and they're great. That's all I watched. They're great. I love them. But I'm actually going to watch more of the Odd1sout. Seems like a really cool YouTube channel. I'm super into it. But yeah. How does it compare? Okay, hold on. We have a thing here. It said, how does it compare to when celebrities were above the law? From Zane Powers. I think when celebrities felt they were above the law, the difference is there, other than like an OJ type situation. Wait, was Odd1sout on the Pizza Party podcast? Was I on the podcast with? Of course, I'm a fucking podcast. Remember it? Okay. Anyway, same as is compared to what slums were above the law. I think it's, for the most part, it was a little more fun and cool, and this is just dangerous and scary. I think that's the difference. But cheers to you, St. Powers. I was not on that episode. Haha. Was it before I was on? Probably not. But okay. So first off, I do think. Okay, Ryan Welch just said he was on the podcast twice and you weren't there. So okay, cool. I have managed to not do. That's funny. That's funny. I didn't know that. Ryan, I should have asked that. Unless he said it in a message and I didn't check it. Now I'm curious if he did. So, I am curious about this for a couple of reasons, but let's get the Bone thing because that is a weird comment there. Okay, guys, Bone wasn't canceled for that. It sounds like Bone was in development and this was in development and they chose not to do Bone. The thing with the Bone thing and is that like, look, I read Bone back in the 90s. Um, I read Bone and I love Bone, and I thought the streaming service that does Hilda would be great for Bone. They chose not to do that. We'll probably get more into Netflix stuff later, but I would say I think it's a shame because I think they are in trouble in a lot of different reasons, and not having a prestige animated show now that Hilda over or not have that. To me, it's like it's a stupid idea not to have something like that. But I don't. I think what they're doing with Odds1out is a separate thing, because I think what Odds1out, I know Ted Sarandos has talked about how Twitch and YouTube are something that they have had concern about. They're one of the few streaming services who publicly go, well, we are also concerned with like young viewers from there not coming here. I'm also surprised none of them have been like, here, Mr. Beast, here is money. Instead, Netflix went, oh, Mr. Beast did a thing. We'll make a show. Like a basic YouTuber, which is boring. Like Mr. Monster. That should be my rip-off character. Hi, I'm Mr. Oh, he could be an anti-Mr. Beast. And instead of giving to charities, he steals from charities. Oh, man. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. Maybe I shouldn't have said this. Mr. Monster. And instead of taking food for the homeless, he takes food from... Okay, sorry. It's like the darkest. But you know what? I think Mr. Monster would be great. No, it could be Mrs. Monster, total gender. Anyway, sorry, I'm like developing evil Mr. Beast. But I know for a fact that they do consider that, and I think they looked at Odd1sout and they thought the show developed, and Odd1sout has a huge following, and a lot of numbers, and I think they just went, we can do a show with them. This will be great. The Gator thing confuses me, and it seems like different from the YouTube videos, which I'm like, I don't know if that will work the best. I also think it looks like Netflix's quirkier stuff, like Arlo the Alligator and stuff like that, and that stuff doesn't take off as well for Netflix kids wise as like was it Action Team? There's a lot of ads for that around where we live, and like kind of the more basic boring shows other than Creature Cases, which really is taken off in terms of little kids. The unique stuff does not seem to take off as much unless it's like Klaus. So I hope they market this correctly. But I am a little confused. Like from the trailer, it looked like a separate thing from the channel that he does. But I am also kind of just curious what it will be. I'm really interested in that. So we'll see about that. But I don't think Bone was canceled because they needed that. I think they're just cutting things and they're like slimming budgets, and they saw an ambitious show, and they, right now, if you're an ambitious, interesting show, you're very vulnerable at a streaming service and very likely to not get to production, much like what happened with J.J. Abrams' show, which I don't remember the name of, that Warner's killed. So I think that's probably what happened to Bone. It's just the nature of the economy of streaming at this moment, and not having to do with a YouTube channel having a cartoon show on Netflix. Those are two different things. Those are, that's anyway. All right. So apparently, how they always say there's like an extra long cut of a movie, and they really just mean the like sort of assembly edit. And they really shouldn't be saying that because it's real dumb. Well, Baz Luhrmann didn't do that actually. He actually does have a really long cut of Elvis. Apparently there is a 4-hour cut. He actually outlined plot lines, and like it sounds like extra things. Like it sounds like there is actually a 4-hour cut of Elvis, which I'm sure I think it's Warner Brothers will probably maybe release at some point. So that's interesting. Of all these cut things we've heard, this is the one that actually has a 4-hour cut. I'm not sure if I'll see Elvis or not. I have mixed feelings on that. Nattenbox64 said, heard that Mavericks is close to over 500 million in the US and Canada. Whoa. Damn. I need to see that. Um, that's insane. I'm very surprised. I Good for Tom Cruise, I guess. I don't. I'm curious. I'm curious about this movie. Anyway, cheers to you. Hold on. I just the name moved, and now I can't delete the Elvis cut. Nice, Norbert. 9 bucks 64. Cheers to you. Delete all the Elvis cuts. So like, after that Black Dynamite thing about Elvis like stealing from Black Girl, I mean, I don't get the Elvis movie because like you listen to early rock and roll, Elvis has like one good album, a bunch of singles. He goes to the military and then he stinks to high heaven after that. Like none of that shit is good, with few exceptions. Like Chuck Berry, as creepy as that dude is, that would be interesting. Bo Diddley, Little Richard. Like there's so many black artists who you could do interesting biopics about, who have interesting stories. And it's like Elvis. I don't I don't get it. I just don't get Elvis as a thing. And I know he's getting less popular, and the estate is trying to get more people into Elvis because, unlike the Beatles, Elvis is losing fans as times go on, as the Beatles just continually gain fans. All right, so Dune Part 2 has cast Leah Sobieski as Lady Margaret. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure my dad does. Leah, did I say Sobieski? I meant, sorry, Leah Sadukis, as I always call her. She's kind of the person you'd expect to be cast in this, and good for her. I'm not sure why I put this on here. It's not interesting to talk about. Good for her. But I do know Dune 2 is buying up a ton of VFX people. They're really building up the production. They're really casting up. So I am a little curious about this one. It seems like they're doing something pretty big. Jimi Hendrix, but Jimi Hendrix has a movie. So, all right. So this is I'm going to call this section trailers and dates. This is streaming dates and trailers, basically, and one movie release date. Shows where are we at. Lily Sobieski is the girl. She was in, you know what? I can only remember her in Eyes Wide Shut now, but she was not just in Eyes Wide Shut. She was in other things, but I can't remember. I don't even know what happened to her. Anyway, let's just go. So Super Giant Robot Brothers looks like a really fun Netflix show, really colorful, bright. I think it is a mixture of their kind of more basic kind of animated show that kids seem to like to a much more creative thing. I could sort of see Studio Trigger in there a bit, or at least someone is aware that there is a Studio Trigger. Good for them. Bob Marley biopic. Good call, Austin. The Stranger Things season 4 volume 2 trailer. Netflix has very much been emphasizing that one of us isn't going to make it out this time thing. So I would say, since they're really pushing that, someone's probably going to die. I'm curious who it's going to be. They're really pushing Kate Bush running up that hills, which this household is super into. Trust me, my wife loves Kate Bush, and Kate Bush is a fan of everyone. My wife is a big fan of Kate Bush and all her albums and all that stuff. But Hounds of Love is a great album. I listened to it today. Running Up the Hill is awesome, and it's cool that they're using it. But it looks cool. I like watching Stranger Things. I don't watch it more than once, but I always have a good time when I watch it. I like the memes, and the characters are very relatable. Everyone that gets weird about it and be like, people are so dumb with 80s nostalgia. It's like, who cares? I'm having fun, and they watched the Ewoks. Like, who cares about the Ewoks? 12-year-old me. That's about it. All right. Bob's Burgers is coming to HBO Max and Hulu. This is, of course, in America because there isn't a Hulu in Canada. I believe if the Canadian contingent would like to say you can. I don't think you have HBO Max in Canada either. How is Bob's Burgers coming out on streaming in Canada? Please let us know. Canadian contingent or just Ryan Welch and other people. But it is, in America at least, is coming to HBO Max and Hulu on July 12th, as well as Uncharted is coming to Netflix on July 15th. So look out for that. Is it Netflix? I didn't write that. Anyway. Other trailers. Solar Opposites Season 3. I haven't watched Solar Opposites at all, but it still looks fun. Lyle Crocodile. That looked like I actually thought that was fun. I think it works for the CG thing where it looks so sort of outlandish and weird and funky. I think Austin lives in Canada. Sorry, Austin. Sorry. I think it sort of worked for it, so I'm excited for that. I think Sophie would like that. Oh, Naked HG's back. What's up? What We Do in the Shadows season 4 trailer came out. What We Do in the Shadows is a great show. Um, the new season looks interesting and how they're going to do it. I think it was really cool. Thank you for deleting those, Austin. Nattenbox 64. Listen to the new Drake album. Not very good. IMO. Yeah, I don't know. I felt, it's funny. I listened to the first Drake mixtape like the weekend it came out because I was super into hip hop blogs then. And I was like, whoa, I can't believe Jimmy from Degrassi can rap and shit. And now it's like, I'm so not interested in him. And I was so into him for a little bit. And anyway, I feel you on that. I haven't listened to it though, Nattenbox 64. But I probably agree with you. Cheers to you. I don't know why they made this soda. It's like, it tastes like if sugar went to the stars and came back wrong. And that was the other thing with the Drake mixtape when it came out. It references in a famous cover of The Economist. Yeah, super cool. And I remember people were like, why is Jimmy from Degrassi rapping and he's referencing an Economist cover? So it was like that weekend, it was like Super Bowl weekend. I remember people were like, this is so random and weird. I have to listen to this. So it was like, I remember people were like, what is going on here? And it just confused everybody. And I think that's like honestly what made that guy kind of bigger in my mind at the time. I remember people on blogs on Twitter being like, this is so weird. And that like helped because you couldn't believe it. Anyway. Okay. Naked Mallrat, that seemed like a fun thing on Netflix. Then we have Titanic is going to be remastered in high frame rate in 3D 4K HDR for Valentine's Day this coming year. I was a big Titanic fan. I feel like we were doing that for Valentine's Day. I don't know about high frame rate Titanic. I'll do 3D 4K HDR. No, I'll do that, but no, high frame rate, I don't know about that. The trailer for They Them, which is the kind of LGBTQ slasher film at a summer camp, which hopefully will be much better than was it Sleepaway Camp? Yeesh. But I think the thing that people are downplaying is Kevin Bacon is running a summer camp in a slasher movie. Is this the first slasher movie he's been in since Friday the 13th? Like, make a big deal out of that. It's on Peacock on August 5th. Blumhouse, of course. Okay, so this is something I found. This is like Jim reads things sometimes. First, Harley Quinn is coming to HBO Max in July, season 3. The dates seem to be a little fuzzy from everyone. However, when I was doing research, I found, and this also gets confusing. So I hope we all understand that Primal, what we thought was season 2, was really part 2 of season 1 or something. And the next thing that is coming out now is actually season 2. It doesn't matter, but apparently it's coming to HBO Max. I found a date from a couple people who think it's coming out July 21st. More Primal, at least, whatever fucking season it is. So it looks like we're getting more Primal in July on HBO Max. I'm super excited. I will, of course, review it and all that stuff. But I believe it's July 21st. I kept saying it was like hidden in articles for Harley Quinn, but like also Primal. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean also Primal? Primal gets an article, Harley Quinn gets an article. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. But that's what people seem to think. It seems super unconfirmable. So cool. Zane Power says, when will they remaster the animated Titanic? I think probably never. Probably unless, unless James Cameron feels like it, I guess. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. The other thing is, like, this isn't a funny, so anyway, sorry. I'm like criticizing a thing I decided to do. So this is interesting. I don't know if it's like something people would like, and it's probably not something I probably will even watch, but I find it interesting. Like, in all seriousness. Kevin Costner is doing basically making this huge film epic thing. I'm not a huge fan of him as a director. I haven't seen Open Range. I know people who like westerns like it, and I do like westerns, so maybe I should check that out. However, Black Hawk Down in 8K, 48 frames per second in 3D. Oh my god, it sounds horrible. I would totally do it though. Cheers to you, Nattenbach64. Kevin Costner's planning 4 historical epics. What's interesting about the like 4 2.5 hour movies that he's going to film over 10 months, and they're going to be released, I think, on HBO Max, and be separated by a few months. He seemed unsure of how they're going to release them. He's like, I don't really care. I just want to make it, and they're letting me make it, so cool, kind of thing. But here's what he said, and it's kind of interesting because he's become pretty big with Yellowstone, and I think he's like, now's my time, and like, more power to him. And I like that this is an interesting project, even if this like stinks and I don't like it, from the guy who made Dances with Wolves, which is really like, you know, whatever. But he's still like doing something ambitious, and let's give Kevin Costner credit for that, even though he did get like the himbo treatment from You Must Remember This recently. The 80s Erotic was a good series. You should check that. You should. Most of you, I think, listen to You Must Remember This, but you should this season as well. Although still, my the Polly Platt series is like, I think, one of the greatest things she's ever done. Still, but anyway, hey Catbot 158. Okay. Oh, you're heading out. Oh, good night. Sorry, I just said welcome back. We've done that already. Have a good night, Catbot 158. It's very nice to have you here, as it always is. Okay. So here's what he said. He said, it's a really beautiful story. It's a hard story. It really involves a lot of women, to be honest. There are a lot of men in it too, but the women are really strong in Horizon. It's called Horizon, by the way. It's just them trying to get by every day in a world that was impossibly tough. They were often dragged out to these places because that's where the men wanted to go. Women were following their men. They didn't ask to be in these territories that were unsettled and dangerous, and life wasn't easy. I've chosen to make sure that that was really obvious, that wasn't easy, and how vulnerable people were. So the reason I actually have interest in this story is, one of my favorite movies of the 2010s was Meek's Cutoff, the Kelly Reichardt film, as well as a film that my review of that became, I guess, I wouldn't say a lightning rod, but for a while people thought the film Westward the Women was an inspiration for Fury Road. It isn't, by the way. That's not true. Someone made that up and said it. They also said it's a feminist movie. It's not. It's about... It's fucking not. It's basically about like a bunch of men who take a ton of women to this settlement so they can marry a bunch of guys at this settlement. And supposedly everyone's like, well, most of the cast are women. There are a lot of women in it, but it's mainly a bunch of dudes. Most of the women don't have names and aren't like actual characters. And then because if you have a ton of characters, you just focus on like 5 because that's how writing works. And anyway, I reviewed it for my Wellman thing, which was before Fury Road, and then all these people picked it up and didn't like that I don't like that movie because I'm like, it's like kind of a dumb way to have made Westward the Woman. Anyway, it's been a thing that's like bothered me. I always get weird comments about it and all this stuff. But I do think it's a fascinating story. I think it'll be cool, and I perhaps offer Kevin Costner for doing something ambitious, not like, you know, maybe trying to go for the Western thing right when Scorsese gets there, like you compete with him again, and please do not win another Best Director Oscar, Kevin Costner. But I appreciate that he's at least doing something with the Western, because I feel like a lot of people aren't, and I think that's cool. So staying on the Western thing here, we have the Django. Okay, this is kind of funny. I didn't realize I did this. It's supposed to say in my notes, Django Zorro canceled. Instead, I wrote Django Zorak canceled, which, to be honest, I think would have been a better movie. Django and Zorak from Space Ghost Coast to Coast. How great would that movie be? I don't know why I wrote Zorak unintentionally, but anyway. So there was going to be a Django Zorro movie. Apparently, Jared Carmichael and Tarantino, to a certain extent, were going to, or had written a script together. They had a good time, apparently. He is on the Western show, Yellowstone. You're right, Austin. Zorak is canceled. Zorak is never canceled, Tunjay. But apparently Jared Carmichael said he got shown like stuff that didn't make it into the original Django. He was really developing it, but he said it was just too costly. He thinks the script they made would cost like $500 million, but it was going to be like Django as Jamie Foxx, and Zorro starring. Zorro would be cast. Antonio Banderas would be Zorro. Sorry. So yeah, that's kind of interesting that it was actually. It sounds like it was written, which is farther developed than I would expect for a spinoff from a Quentin Tarantino thing. I would have think not, but yeah, I thought it was kind of sad. It was interesting that one for it. It sounds like it's 48 hours with the Safdies. Sorry, isn't going anywhere either, which I thought that could have been cool. So I hope one of the Gerard Carmichael things actually happens at some point. I find him an interesting screen presence, but it's sad the Django thing doesn't look like it's happening. Netflix, where you at? That would be really cool, by the way. Will's here. Hello, Will. Finally made it to the stream. Thank you. Said, speaking of Costner, did anything happen with that weird sounding reboot of Waterworld with Dan Trachtenberg? I have not heard anything about that in a long time. Rebooting Waterworld. I don't know about rebooting I think the main reason they'd want to do it is because Waterworld was pretty much a ripoff of Mad Max, and Fury Road happened, and I'm sure they're like, oh, what properties do we have that could do that? And it's Waterworld. I don't see them doing it, although Waterworld is a little more liked overseas. It's maybe not big enough, but unless, like, I don't know what studio. Was it Universal put that out? Wasn't it Universal because they did that cool, like, you saw the water taking over everything in the beginning? That's the only thing I remember about Waterworld. Anyway, cheers to you, Will. Thank you for being here. I'm drinking this weird soda now. I'm just talking to Will. Will, how are you doing? You should just respond. Don't do that. If you want to. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. All right. We should... How many things do we have? Okay, and then we'll do the streaming thing. I'm just going to bang through these, do the streaming thing. We're going to take a break. I'll do the channel update, then questions. That's how we're going to do it today. The Spy Kids reboot has cast Gina Rodriguez and Zachary Levi as the parents. A couple kids, which I feel weird saying one kids, you don't know them at all. And who was cast as the kids on a stream. I just think that's weird. But I gotta say, his We Can Be Heroes was a big hit with kids. I know my daughter watched it a few times. And the Spy Kids films are very beloved. And I like Robert Rodriguez doing his thing. I am curious, and if Ramiro is in the chat or is watching this later, Robert Rodriguez was going to do like a movie trying to do El Mariachi, but like now on that kind of budget. I don't know what happened to that movie. I'm curious about that one. But that sounds cool, and I like the Spy Kids franchise. Lee Winnell who directed The Invisible Man, is eyeing a Green Hornet and Kato movie. I don't think that's a good idea. Here's the thing with Green Hornet. When I was a kid, you watched Green Hornet to watch Bruce Lee. You didn't really give a shit about Green Hornet. Call it Kato. Get someone who's amazing at martial arts who hasn't broken in America. Why are you selling Green Hornet? Who are you appealing to? Who is like, but it has to be Green Hornet. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Stop doing this. Dear God, just make it Kato. My entire life, I've seen that every time I watch that show. I'm just waiting for Bruce Lee. It is. I don't know who that white guy is. I don't care. It's fucking the Kato show. Just give it up. Stop doing it. Oh, here we got it. Will says, I just hope when Prey releases, Dan isn't screwed over from directing another feature for another couple years. I hope he isn't, but there is talk of that, Will. I have noticed there's a bunch of talk of about Prey, so I think it might work out. I do not know the release date of Prey. If you wouldn't mind putting that in chat, I would appreciate it, or if anyone else wants to as well. Cheers to you. I think, sorry, I made weird noises there. I think Kato should be a martial artist. I saw people putting people, but it's Lee Winnell. You may not know. That's true. That is true, Netbox64. Lee Winnell is a good director. Maybe I shouldn't have undermined it. Anyway, cheers to you. It can't be worse than the Seth Rogen one. I can imagine the same echo chamber of execs who made Ben-Hur. Discount, Viscount. Very true. Nice to see you, Discount, Viscount. Cheers to you. Yeah. Maybe he has an idea. I'm curious. All right. Sometime in August. Okay, that's cool. Thank you, Will. I guess this is the last thing. East of Eden, which was a book which was originally directed by Elia Kazan, is now being developed with, I believe, Florence Pugh starring, being directed by. I got what you meant, Descam Viscount. I knew what you meant by the new Ben Hur. I think most people do. There was a newer Ben Hur, if you didn't remember. Which, why would you remember? So, but Zoe Kazan, who is Elia Kazan's granddaughter, I believe, if I have that right, is directing the miniseries of East of Eden, because apparently the book is different from the James Dean movie. One of the, is it like three? He did three movies, right? East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant. That's right. So I'm forgetting one. If I'm forgetting a James Dean movie, let me know. I should just do a James Dean series because it'd be quick. But East of Eden from Zoe Kazan is going to be a show. It's interesting since it's the granddaughter of Elia Kazan. I thought that was interesting. All right, so I want to do, this is sort of a segment. It's not going to become a separate thing. And then Obits. It's just kind of the future of streaming and what's going on right now, because there's a lot of upheaval. Netflix feels like it's falling apart. We have the incoming recession, which everyone feels like is going to happen. And we have a structure on rating these things that is completely doesn't make any sense. So right now, Netflix is not in the bad shape people are portraying it as. In fact, Netflix is in very good shape. And despite the massive amounts of debt that seems like people aren't talking about, which is curious, they are making money. They are being a lot smarter about getting subscribers than almost any other streaming service. And in terms of like people currently say, oh, I have this many subscribers, right? But they're not saying how much they're making off those subscribers. And typically Netflix makes about 10 to 15 per I think it's like 10 basically per subscriber. They're not making any stupid fucking deals with cable companies or something like that to convince people to be part of their streaming service for a year, and then, you know, they dump it, and then of course those people don't come over, because why would they, for most part, for these other ones? Netflix isn't doing that. So Netflix is financially actually pretty good, despite the stock price stuff. They had to lean things up, but if there's a coming recession and they've sort of like cheapened things out and made things a little more economical, guess who's going to be more prepared for a recession? Ding, they're good. They're actually in a much better shape in terms of that. In terms of content, it's a little different because they've alienated a lot of people with all their pro comedians who are anti-trans for whatever fucking reason, and killing a lot of their animation department and wanting to do less prestige stuff. After Stranger Things is done, what do they have other than like The Crown? They're sort of fucked in terms of content. They might financially be okay, but they have to back up that good financial situation they might have going in, and that is an issue that everyone sees coming right now. Now, let me get back to this. Hold on. There's a Will said, Michel Gondry couldn't even adapt Green Hornet successfully. Bet y'all forgot he was behind that. I do forget he was behind that because it's so anti-Michel Gondry. Cheers to you, Will. God, Michel Gondry really went down with that movie. No one even talks about him beyond Eternal Sunshine anymore. But I think there's a lot of concern with Netflix having the content to do it. As well as HBO Max, I think, is a great streaming service, is profitable, actually. It has worked out for them. They're doing pretty well. They're not as concerned with that. But, and Apple and Amazon sort of don't count. They got a lot of money. But here's the things that are worrying. Well, the other thing, I guess, that Netflix is trying to do a free ad tier streaming part of it. The reason they're doing that is because Tubi and Pluto are actually major players, going from things that made, tens of millions of dollars to like billions of dollars because it's free streaming. And if there's a recession, guess who's going to do well? Pluto and Tubi, who are just sitting there ready to go. They're doing great. I'm curious how this free streaming is going to work out for everyone. I think they don't want to fuck it up like Peacock did, which had a level of free streaming, but they tried to rip off Pluto in a section, and that didn't work, and all that stuff. But then you come to Disney Plus. Disney Plus doesn't expect to be profitable right now until 2024. Depending on how bad the recession is, that might be 2025, 2026, until it's even profitable. Now, it's doing really well. It's still a massive streamer, but it's not profitable. Now, unlike Paramount Plus and Peacock, which are just flat out not profitable, and it is pretty big, but it's gonna have to go through and make itself bigger. But the other problem that everyone's talking about with them is they basically, as many people feel, devalued Pixar with Lightyear. Now, I do think that was probably sort of a thing where they fucked up, where everyone else I think is saying this wrong, because the thing with Lightyear is it's a spinoff, not a direct sequel to Toy Story. So measuring it against Toy Story 4 is sort of a misnomer. It's like measuring Thor and saying Thor was a failure because it didn't make Avengers money. Thor was never going to make Avengers money. Buzz Lightyear was never going to make that money. Why people are saying that, I have no clue. It probably made a little closer to what those kind of films made. I understand it was a bit of a disappointment. 20 million less than you expect is not great. And not even coming in at number one for a Pixar movie is not good as well. And a lot of people are looking at Disney Plus like they devalued Pixar to build up this streaming service. Now you could say, and this might be controversial, that Soul going to Disney Plus gave them a huge favor, because I don't hate Soul or anything, but I don't think it's a movie that's going to make 200 million in the US. I don't think that was going to happen. I don't think that's a crazy thing to think either. So I think they dodged a massive bullet with Soul there. I really do. I think it really would not have done that great. It's not really a family film. It's sort of its own thing. It's fine. I'm glad that they have their own thing there. I'm glad that they're making films like that. I think that's cool. But I think they sort of, that worked out for them. Luca and Turning Red, it didn't, ultimately. And it's kind of interesting that, they let Encanto go to theaters, but not the other Pixar, like Turning Red or something like that. So I think they very much very much hurt Pixar. They're devaluing certain brands. They need to figure out how they're going to do this and also have a theater future. And Disney Plus is kind of one of those things that Chapek could go down for if he doesn't really make it work. But we also could be seeing Disney becoming insulated within its own streaming service and not having the theatrical pull it's had through its entire life, which is going to be interesting. You have that as well. You also have, Nat in Box 64. I hope this isn't boring for anybody. You also have Nat in Box 64 said, fun fact, Universal released Jason Bourne in 2016 in theaters in China back in 2016, only in 3D and 4K. I didn't know that. Cheers to you. Paramount Plus, there's a lot of talk that Netflix is going to buy or merge with Universal or Roku. There's probably more about Roku in them. We'll see about that. But I think Paramount Plus is sort of the little bit of the player that no one's talking about, because they've been getting better and better. Had the Roe v. Wade overturning not happened, we'd probably hear more about Beavis and Butthead and then putting the music videos back in. They also have actual episodes of Yo MTV Raps with the music videos. It's really cool. I would say that is really cool. If I was Paramount Plus, I would take advantage of the MTV nostalgia, because there's a lot of it. If they had TRL or Total Request Live, certain episodes with the commercial, with the music videos back in, if they had Headbangers Ball, 120 minutes, Alternative Nation if you're bored, I don't care, Club MTV, all that stuff, people would be like, oh, cool. And it's also like, hey, watch what it was like in the 90s right now. Jordan Sloffalo, good night. I missed that. Good night, Jordan Sloffalo. But Paramount Plus also has the Halo show. Thank you for bringing that up, Embla T. They have a bunch of, they are trying, I think, much more than Peacock. I think Peacock is a fucking loser. But the other things that were interesting I found about streaming is, one, the metric of minutes. So every time you see a show's a minute, it's basically that that you hear it, a million minutes were watched to it. So there's that metric, and there's a report that I heard on the podcast, The Angler, The Hot Seat, and I forget who said it. It was last week's episode, not this week's. The Angler is a great podcast. It's like a very industry-heavy one, but that one I say is a must listen to if you're interested in entertainment news. But I'll say that what happens is they looked at this is how it was described: a big show that takes place in a high school that's been getting really big. It's been getting really big ratings, and they looked at what minutes people were watching of this show, and they found it was mainly the sex scenes were so spiked, and people were rewatching those minutes that they theorized that most people it wasn't as big as they really thought it was. It was just appeared to be that big because of the way minutes were counted, and people were just literally scrolling to watch high school sex scenes, which makes you go, wait, what? And it's a show that suddenly had really huge ratings this season for no reason. How did that happen? Anyway, I'm just saying that's a thing I learned, and I was like, what the fuck? Apparently, so the metric. I'll do these two, and then I'll get into this. Sorry. Will said, "Thank you, Will. There are so many MTV gems that need to get added to Paramount Plus. Silph and Ollie, as well as Fear, would be incredible to binge and reintroduce audiences to their service, as well as a show that was a big thing called Remote Control, which was the first MTV original show, which was a game show. I think that would be good. Cheers to you, Will." Nattenbox64 says the only interesting thing Peacock has is WWE. I like the Amber Ruffin show, and I know people like Girls 5 Hour, but I've never watched that. Cheers to you. So one metric that's going to change me doubting this thing is the idea of subscribers and how many you have isn't going to matter anymore because of all these stupid deals they've been cutting to inflate the subscriber numbers for Wall Street. One, that Cricket, I tweeted a thing about a Cricket deal that fell through for Disney. When Disney had that deal, they were getting a ton of subscribers, but each of those subscribers were worth about 75 cents. Whereas Netflix could have the same amount of subscribers and make $10. I think financially that makes a lot more sense. But what's going to happen is they're going to ask, how much are we making off of these, 2 million subscribers? And if they're like, well, each of us are giving us a nickel, Wall Street's going to be like, I'm sorry, what the fuck? Like, what? Same with the minutes thing is probably going to go away. The economics of where streaming is before is going to end because there's going to be a recession. They start going to be asking a lot more questions. So I'm curious what that means for Netflix. I think Netflix is better for it now. I think Paramount Plus could push through because honestly, anytime I go into Paramount Plus, I end up watching more things because I see ads for like, oh, maybe I'll check Daria. Maybe I'll finally watch all of Aeon Flux. Maybe I'll watch this. Maybe I'll watch that. There's options. When I watch Peacock, I'm like, yeah, I'm sort of done. Sorry, I'm bashing them. I like Amber Ruffin a lot. But I do expect either Peacock or Paramount to go away. I wouldn't be surprised if it's both, but most likely Peacock. We're going to see a real change in streaming. But if you're thinking Netflix is going down, is going to fall, I don't support what they're doing, and I don't like what they're doing to animation and how they're letting like Ricky Gervais and Dave Chappelle and pushing them on a huge pedestal and things like that. I do not like that, but I have to admit they're not in the bad position that we think they are, because look at what they did with Stranger Things recently. Look at that Kate Bush song. They have a huge cultural impact, and that is not going to go away tomorrow. That is not going to be diminished, and it isn't diminished. It isn't diminished at all. So I do think they're still going to remain one of the biggest. If they're not number one, they're going to be number two, and it's going to be that way through the recession and through at least the next 5 years, unless they majorly fuck up the next 5 years, which is a possibility because they've annoyed almost everyone. But right now it doesn't look like that's the case, but we will see. All right, we're getting kind of late. It's already like a half hour left, so maybe I'll just not take a break because that was really long. I hope you found that interesting. Let's do one thing and I'll do the segment, and then I'll do, because I would like to try to end at 12:30 like I used to. Actually, let me go pee real quick and then do that. Maybe we'll run like 5 minutes over. But I'll say RIP to Everett Peck, who drew. Is it Everett Peck? What? Oh my God, I never tweeted out. Oops. That's embarrassing. Never tweeted out the thing. Oh my goodness. Oh well. Well, I guess now people know Movie Crap is live. Embarrassing. Okay, Everett. Is it Everett Peck? How about this? Duckman. All right, I was right. Okay, so Everett Peck, who created Duckman, was a major writer on animation in the 90s, died recently. I used to watch Duckman. I watched a lot of the shows he produced and worked on. And I think it was a huge loss for animation and a huge loss from that very few, kind of fertile ground animation period in the 90s. It's honestly pretty amazing. So I'm very sad to see him go. He's a major part of my childhood, and it's pretty sad that he's gone. I don't know. I hope he's remembered for as much as he did for animation and for Duckman and his cynical attitude in general. All right, I'm going to go. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Sorry, I didn't. Man, I can't believe I didn't tweet out. Well, it's the first one back. A little rusty there, but I'll be right back. Sorry if you've just gotten here from Twitter, and then we'll do sort of this channel update thing, and then we'll do questions, and I will be right back. It will not be very long. Hold on. Oh. Okay. Ugh. Lightning was like that. That's funny. Okay. I think this went pretty well. The tweet thing is a little embarrassing, but other than that, it went well. But people can watch it later. It's fine. Okay. So I want to try to do this part, and then we'll do questions. This is the segment where I kind of go through everything. So if you're watching this as a segment later, it's actually going to be called "What is Film Rod Video?" So I'm going to tell you, if you're just here to learn about Film Rod Video and you're watching this later, you're watching this now, I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to go other channel updates after that. So I'm going to have some water after that. Anyway, so Film Rod Video is my new cartoon. It is a video essay cartoon hybrid. That's sort of different from what Pan does or Saber or something, where they have the, omniscient. They're basically the narrator of it. They're like the main. There's only one person. This is sort of a debate between Dave and his TV. Basically, TV came to life one day. Error's been alive the whole time, and just wants to talk about all he's learned about media and film and all that stuff like that. So sometimes Dave will ask him a question, and then he answers it. It's sort of like you're going to learn what is various like film theory kind of things, and you'll see clips and stuff like that. So that's kind of what the show is. You're going to find that out soon, because the first real episode is in 2 weeks. But I'm excited for it. Each episode has a song at the end that will then be released. The full song will be released a week after each episode. So you get an episode and then you get a full song. And yeah, which is going to be kind of cool. I am just trying to do kind of like sort of a fun, kind of cooler, chill film education thing. Sometimes editorial, but mostly just to like explain various film terms because, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people don't really get into that. And I think I do like kind of more fun educational stuff, but this is like way more chill. I think a lot of educational stuff, to be honest with you, is made for smart people to like learn stuff. And it's to me, it's like I don't really understand the point of that kind of thing. I just like to be, most of the film stuff I learned is me talking to somebody and us just being like sort of normal people, not being so like I'm an intelligent person learning an intelligent thing. Like I don't really want that for this. I just want like them to say like fuck and like stuff like that, like be chill. So that's sort of like what I want from this. I hope you like it. I'm really excited to do it. It's a big step for me. I'm obviously influenced by 12-ounce mouse. That is why I decided to do it, because when I was doing my reviews of that, I just found when I was reading stuff how they made it, and I realized I had everything that they used to make it at my disposal. Like I could just like make 12-ounce mouse, and I was kind of like, I can't write and plan out 12-ounce mouse. I'm not an idiot, but like production wise, I had that ability, and that's sort of like what made me go, I like dirty, gross, ugly cartoons. So that's sort of where that is. And it is all actually hand drawn by me, obviously, on paper and then scanned and then put in. I don't know if I'll do that. I'm sort of working on this as a season 1 of about 10 or so episodes. And then I'll probably take a little break and do a season 2. Maybe I'll get a tablet or something after that. I've thought of designing it differently. I might not. Who knows? I haven't planned. I'm not that far. I do sort of know what I want to do this season. And I have a couple scripts written. And other than the ones you're going to see right now, over these couple weeks, I have one currently in production. I'm hoping they kind of take a while, so you're not going to see them as regular as this or these other videos. I'm hoping to get 2 more out this year. I have one, the audio is recorded. I have like 1 shot done. I've been doing a lot of animations, a lot of pre-production. I don't know if you knew that. A lot of that kind of boring stuff, organization things, like going through and which shots are this and which shots are that and things like that. And 2 other scripts that aren't recorded, that one's completely done, one I need to work on, and other ideas I need to research. So, but I think I can get 2 more out this year. So I want these to be events sort of things. They'll be the week of, you'll get kind of the video series I'm working on. Then like what Shrek is. So I'm doing each of the Shreks. So each time you get an episode of Film Route Video, the Tuesday before, you'll get a Shrek review until I'm done with Shrek reviews. And Puss in Boots is involved in that. I don't know where in the order Puss in Boots is going to happen, but I'll figure it out. I haven't looked at that. Man, Naked HD, that you're my I'm so glad you're here today, I guess. Sorry, Austin or Zane Powers. Fuck. Naked HD just distracted me. But yeah, you'll get that. The Shrek thing is going to be until it's over. And then you'll get Movie Crap Live that Saturday. So it's like sort of an event week. You get all that stuff there. As for Movie Crap Live, before we get to Movie Crap Live, let me say this. What's going to happen with film? Sorry. As for what's going to happen with Film Route Video this coming week, basically each episode, because animation takes a while and they're usually done in advance, I can actually have them be out for the Patreon first. So if you are a patron, the first one I wanted everyone to see at once. I wanted it to be a thing. But after, like, the theme song, if you're a patron, you can see it on the day before on Wednesday. if for $1, if you have access to the Patreon feed, which is $1 and up, then you can see it on that Wednesday about 24 hours before. I believe I can still do a premiere with that. If I can't, I will figure out a different way to do this. But you will get to see it a day early, and then it'll come on that Wednesday, and it'll come out this Thursday. After that, episode 1, like I said, comes out. The theme song comes out this Thursday. After that is episode 1 on July 7th. Can I just report? Okay. After that, you get episode 1 on July 7th, and then the episode 1 song on July 14th. So that's what's going on there. I don't know when the other ones are going to come out. I'm still working on them. When I get a little closer, maybe a week or a couple of days before, I'll do it. I'm sort of learning how to do all this. There's a lot of me figuring things out. So Movie Crap Live. Austin, you're cool. Don't worry. What's going to happen with Movie Crap Live? It is not going to be as regular as before. I have 2 kids. I have an anime show. The baby's still a baby. He's waking me up all the time, as well as my wife, who's taking care of him as well, and getting less sleep than me, to be honest. So it's just harder to be able to do this every week. I think I would run myself down. That has nothing to do with you guys. I love doing the show. That's why I'm back trying to do it. But it will always be Movie Crap Live. You'll get one. December might be a little tough. I'm going to be honest with you there. But we'll figure it out. And I will. Oh, here we go. Let me finish this part. But I want to do one at least once a month. There will be one in August. I will tell you what that date is. And at the end of each one, I'm going to select a date. So you're not like, when is the next one? Sometimes those will change because my life is chaos all the time. But we'll see about all that stuff. But I'm going to try to do them more regularly. I'm sorry I didn't do the Oscars, to be honest with you. I was sort of just run down, and I'm sort of glad, because that Will Smith thing, I feel like I wouldn't have, that was a crazy situation. So, but yeah, Movie Crap Live is back. It's not like it is before, but I think it'll be better. It'll probably just be one segment, but we have the cartoon, there's kids. If YouTube was my full-time job, I would totally do it. Do this every Saturday, to be honest with you, or every week, maybe on a Friday or something. I would have no problem with it, but it's at this point not. So I'm going to do the best I can, and maybe we'll do some emergency ones. I wouldn't mind doing a surprise one. I've said that forever. I'm not sure about that, but there's going to be a lot of cool, exciting stuff. I'm going to get through the rest of it real quick. Will's, with a really nice super chat, thank you very much, Will, said, Netflix situation doesn't make any sense despite all the animation project they can. There's so many animation films that are distributing this year. Example being Cartoon Saloon's next feature, My Father's Dragon. I didn't know they were doing that. I thought Cartoon Saloon was just going to be Apple. That's interesting. Thank you for saying that, Will. Cheers to you. That doesn't make sense. And why didn't Cartoon Saloon and Apple work out? Now I'm asking about that. I didn't know about that. But yeah, they're confusing. Anyway, cheers to you, Will. Yeah, Coke is, I don't think we're doing Coke again for a while. All right. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't do the Oscars, but next year I think I will. Other than that, I'm going to be doing reviews. Like I said, I'm doing the Shrek series. Probably the other segments are going to be mini reviews of other Shrek things. Oh, I forgot to mention this. No, I'll mention this before the question. Sorry. Other reviews. I'm going to try to keep up doing animation reviews. The Mystery Science Theater reviews have actually been doing well for me. They're kind of interesting. Like first day they go up, no one cares, and they slowly gain viewers and stuff. It's interesting audience for those. But I think there was a Joel episode recently. I'm going to do a review of that. Those have been great. The only other thing, hey Spitfire, the only other thing I will say is the journal videos. I know I'm like sort of doing the 2021 ones I have left, which I think I have 4 or 5 left. I want to get those done this year and then just sort of be current. I hope you like those. Those will never be premieres because sort of just like these arty family movies, I guess. And yeah, I can't think of anything else. I like doing random things. I like my channel being this like all different things. If you don't like one video, I have so much content out there. I would just suggest finding another thing to watch on my videos, scrolling through the others, or just waiting for the next one. I try to do everything. I would very much like to do Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. There's a ton of stuff I want to do. Every show ever is not going away. Lost Film Files not going away. I have a lot of stuff coming up. So I'm excited for the future. I hope you're excited too. I kind of wanted this week to be a big launch week in the next couple of weeks, and there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. My son just got vaxxed, so I'm hoping to go to theaters a little bit more, but not just yet, but soon, and all that stuff. So I'm excited for the future channel. I hope you're excited too. I just wanted to use this as a chance to update you on everything that's happening. I hope you like Film Rot Video. I'm really excited. And the final thing, I guess I do have a TikTok, but it just clips miniature ones of Film Rot Video. So also be on my Instagram if you follow me on there as Reels. And yeah, I think that's everything, unless there's anything else I'm going to talk about. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being so cool. And thank you for all your support. And yeah. All right. Thank you. Sorry I did just a dumb channel update, but I felt like it was warranted. So that's why I did that. But yeah, cool. I hope this wasn't just a bunch of hype. Give a like if you haven't already, by the way. I feel like this went well, by the way. I feel like it was a little rusty. The Twitter thing, I feel like usually I send a tweet like I'm live and it's all cool, and like I didn't. It took me a while. So good night, purple goop. By the way. Oh, naked. Okay, I'm trying to put user in timeout. Okay, maybe that'll work. Okay, so 2 Patreon questions. There's an Austin, a Cineram, and then an Austin because the second one's sort of long. So let me explain this. Austin said, I hope, by the way, all the channel update stuff were clear. If it isn't, say something. I don't know what that was. Say something in the comments or something. All right, so Austin asked, recently in the Pizza Party podcast, we're trying to explain how Nightcrawler's powers work and him in the Hell Dimension works. Could you, as an X-Men expert, explain how this works? I don't know the Hell Dimension thing, but let me say this. Hello, Spencer Presley. I know his powers work. Like, he has to have a mental image of where he's teleporting to. So if like he was on, I know in one comic he was on an alien spaceship, and Kitty Pryde like, can't you just teleport out of here? And he's like, I don't know what that room is. I could just teleport into anything. So I know that's one of the ways his powers work. He can't teleport that far. I know sometimes they've cheated it, but I don't think it's like that far. I think it's like his powers get weaker the longer he travels, or at least that's how it used to be. I don't know how it is now. Okay. Oh yeah. Start leaving questions. Sorry. Sinram says, Sinram, hello Sinram. I don't think you're still watching, but thank you for this question and for being these are the Patreon questions. I probably should have said that. All right. Simon and Garfunkel is responsible for all the songs in The Graduate. The Bee Gees wrote a heap of songs for Saturday Night Fever, and P.T. Anderson utilizes several Amy Mann tracks for Magnolia. Choose a contemporary artist or band to provide the soundtrack for Ridley Scott's first musical, and welcome back. Thank you, Sinram. I was thinking about this. Actually, I was thinking about this, and I thought about this, and I think here's what I think. I'm either gonna go with The Cure, which I think I'm pushing it there, but I think honestly it would be Depeche Mode, and I think him and Depeche Mode would make, even though Anton Corbijn is sort of Depeche Mode's dude, I would say Depeche Mode. I think that would work with the Ridley Scott style. We have a super chat. I'll break this from Discount Visco. I said, last one, give your most badass, it's Morbin time. It's Morbin time. Cheers to you. Austin says, this is the second one. He's giving to, this is a long one. So in the past, I would tell you what movie we watch for Friday Discord watch party. So me and Corbin made a list of them since I've been gone, and it's a long list. They did Garth Marenghi episode, and they were wondering, I think he was asking me which one I would watch. Sorry, I'm not saying this correctly. Of all the movies that I did movie nights with, then a lot of them, Garth Marenghi, various cartoon Halloween specials, Ernest Stupid, Coraline, Halloween, Rat Race, Batman Returns, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I'm going to go with either Garth Marenghi's Dark Place or... was Mask of the Phantasm on here, or did I make that up? Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Batman Mask of the Phantasm and Garth Marenghi. I'm going to go with those two. All right, let's try to get as much of these questions as I can. I should have put a question there first. Oh, so Mr. Presley, I guess this is the first question. Asked, what happened to your Doctor Strange dad video? It was a great video and was sad to see it go away. Did he like it? Oh, well, I think he was like going on a trip right before and he wasn't in town. I know he did like it. I think he thought it was cool. Yeah, it was kind of sad. I don't think there was a good way to do it. And I think there was some question if he was going to see before his trip and stuff. And, yeah, we probably should have done that. So, had it worked out, I would have liked to have done that. I don't know if it's worth it now. And we haven't gotten to really talk about it yet. So I think at some point, maybe, that's a good point. I know people like those. And maybe at some point. Anyway, that's a good point. Spencer Presley. Question, which will be better, El Moretto or Craven? I'm going to give it to El Moretto because it's a thing. Craven, I keep hearing things about it. It's weird. Zane Powers, what's the point in anything? Fuck if I know. Oh, that's Naked HD right into your house. Thank you. I just realized, I mean, delayed, but I got what you were doing there. Cornbread. Okay, so I had a year worth of Cantina Wolfman questions, facts that got cut short, understandably so. But to welcome you back, here's what intended last one was. Okay, did you know, despite having this major close-up shot, Cantina Wolfman is one of the first 3 aliens seen in the Cantina alien montage of all versions? It's true. What a send-off to our Wolfman. Nice. The West End has Jim Jr. said his first words. I think you mean Oscar. He said like Dada and Mama, but that's kind of all he's really saying. So I guess, yeah, I'd say. B. Parker asks, I think Hell Dimension was a Chuck Austin addition. Oh, I didn't know that. Nattenbox 64, favorite Tom Cruise performance. I think it's Ethan Hunt, but I think most people, I guess I'm supposed to say Born on the 4th of July. But you know what? I'm going to go with Magnolia. I think that's probably the one. Although I like him in Risky Business. He's not the bad actor that everyone thinks is good. But anyway. Nathaniel Foga, how's it going? Where does Film Rot Video fit in the Jim Extended Animated Universe? As I've always viewed it, Cletus was the suburbs and Knockforce was the city. I don't think Film Rot Video, I don't know where that is. I think it's just in an apartment. I don't know if it's in the same universe. I don't know if I'll ever do a metaverse kind of crossover thing. Maybe one day, but I don't know where it fits in. It's definitely like, I will say, I think I made 2 cartoons in my 20s, and this is my cartoon of my late 30s. So I think it's different vibe. Maybe that's it, but I don't know where it fits in. Guess maybe that explained it. I hope it did. Zane Powers, since you've been gone for so long, do you think you could regale us with a tale of your days in Vietnam, Korea, or being a kid in the 50s? No skipping on details. Oh, being a kid, you could just watch Apollo 10 and a half, to be honest. Go over some of that stuff. Vietnam was crazy. Korea was okay. The 50s were the best time to be a kid, as you're supposed to say. Tyler, question, are you hyped for Kung Fu Hustle 2 that's been in development for years now? I am. It's been in development so long I forgot what you said, that it was in development. Austin, will Silver Joe or High Peanut Cop, will they appear in Film Rot? No, I don't think there'll be any crossover with 12 Hours Mouse. If they would let me, that would be cool. And Blood Tea. You think it's the Oscars that triggered Netflix to stop producing prestigious vanity projects after they made fun of Power of the Dog and Don't Look Up and winning nothing Best Pictures? That's actually, I probably should have mentioned that. I've heard from various people at Netflix. The problem is not so much that Power of the Dog won Best Director. That worked out for them. Don't Look Up worked out for them. People watched it. What really is the problem is things like The Bubble, which costs like over 100 mil. And like, do any of you know what I'm talking about right now? Is the Judd Apatow thing? I actually shot a review, and I don't think I'll ever release it because it came and went too quickly, and they had too many projects like that that cost a ton of money, and nobody gave a shit. And so I think the problems when people are going The Irishman and these things that we get Oscar nominated, they're apparently not the problem. It's the stuff that like there's a ton of cartoons on there that nobody's watched, and they're not even the ones we're talking about. And I think that's the real issue. It's not the Oscar nominees. So Power of the Dog did what it did. Don't Look Up had 2 movie stars and was #1 on their weird thing that I sort of don't trust entirely. But a lot of people watch those. If you're not giving them a higher profile or giving them views, they don't matter to you. They were hurting them, and that was the real problem. So, B. Parker, what pop songs will be in Joker 2? I don't know. I'm a little... Oh, wait. Got lost there. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, what... B. Parker, what pop songs will be in Joker 2? I hope... I hope we get some mid-'80s stuff. Maybe Lady Gaga will do a Madonna song. Question, did Naked HD make you want to check out their cheap sex Tinder? No, it didn't. Sleepy Time 4Cat Productions. What are the chances that Avatar 2 is secretly a covert Last Airbender sequel? That would be funny. Man, if Cameron wanted to, I bet he could. Nathaniel Foga, how does it feel to drink Red Bull after so long? What? I guess I don't know. I'm not sure what you're doing there. Cornbread. I'm considering resubbing to Netflix next month. I dropped it after the Chappelle BS. What do you recommend I watch that I missed out on? Stranger Things. Oh, Archive 81, 82. That was really good. And I didn't do a review on that. I might talk about it for a Film Route episode at some point or something. But that was really cool. I got really into that. And I kind of should have done a review of that, to be honest with you. Zane Powers. Favorite power that is simple in... also Cuphead. Sorry. Favorite power that is simple in concept, but when you think about it, is extremely overpowered. Super strength. It's probably super strength. If you ever took a trip to Japan, which spot would you want to go to first? I don't know, but I would like to go to Japan. I don't really have an idea. Probably if I went, I would figure that out. Tokyo? Sorry. Zane Powers, what celebrity couple would have the messiest public divorce right now? I think there's a bunch of Angelina and Brad Pitt stuff that's brewing that could become that. And I really hope it doesn't, especially if people find out he fucking hit his kids. That's probably something you don't want to know. Nathaniel, for a question, what would oh man, you're really into this. What would a Knock Force Cleese Feast Film Route video crossover be like? I don't know, because I've never planned it. So maybe one day. Austin, question, thoughts on the writer of Dunkachino, Robert Smigel, getting arrested? Okay, Austin, I want to bring up that everyone else said it was the Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, and you're the only person who's like, it's the creator of Dunkachino, or the writer of Dunkachino. I think it's funny. I thought apparently it was a little silly, to be honest. They just stayed too long, and they had a skirmish, and it wasn't really a big thing, according to Colbert at least. I'm curious what the skit is. I don't think, has anyone posted it? Did the skit go out? What happened with that? That's my real question. But he should have done the Dunkachino dance and distracted them while everyone else ran. If he was a real American, frankly. Should Ridley Scott work with Bauhaus like Tony Scott? The art school or the band? No, that would be cool too. I like that idea. Cornbread said he'd like to see the dad Doctor Strange video even if it's this late. Okay, maybe. Austin, now that you're back, will Daily Dunkachino or Katana Wolfman be back? Oh man, I want Katana Wolfman to be back, but I wish Daily Dunkachino. I didn't make it in that video. I was so happy. I was like, I thought my video was dumb and the Dunkachino people probably didn't like it, and I got in there somehow. Made me feel good. Zane Powers, sometimes it's like nice to be included because I know I'm like sort of this off-brand thing for a lot, so it's just nice. It makes me feel special. I don't know. Sort of. I'm just being honest there, I guess. Same Powers, since you don't talk about it, what were your thoughts on the new China foreign film policy? China's box office has dramatically gone down, and people were talking about it before, but when they turned down Spider-Man because of that ending on the Statue of Liberty, they majorly fucked up because that film made so much money without China. Every studio was like, maybe we don't need China, and it did not make China look good at all. It's them being tougher is not helping them get more pull with Hollywood. Maybe that was the point, but they majorly fucked up because it gave everyone a thing to point to, and that was not. They should have just said, nah, it's fine, just like maybe 5 less shots. I don't know how you don't have the Statue of Liberty. I mean, France made it. It's not American. Well, I guess overseas work, that is pretty American. Cornbread says, rest in peace to Katana Wolfman facts. I will clearly miss thee. Oh man, I like that. Was going to have a big role in Blue Harvest. No, Blue Harvest is the shooting title for Return of the Jedi. Zane Powers, question, does Pixar hate and were purposely spitting Buzz Lightyear of Star Command? What? Purposely like split? I'm confused by that question. I think, I don't know. Sorry. Thano Foga, how disappointed were you knowing you couldn't see Alpha in person at MomoCon this year? I am disappointed. Despite that everyone got COVID, I had major FOMO that weekend. I had to like stop looking at Twitter for a little bit for just, I don't know. I wish I was there despite all the COVID stuff. It would have been fun. Question, March of the Wooden Soldiers or Babes in Toyland 1961? I know Babes in Toyland better, so I'm going to say Babes in Toyland more. Question, were you the one who stole Seth Green's NFT? I'll never tell, but maybe. Jim Senior reviews? Nice. B. Parker. Question, where's the cheese? Nice, Brian Walterson. Nice reference. Only him could do it. Only you could do that. Everyone should check out that video. B. Parker, did Blazing Samurai ever come out? I don't think so. Some other Samurai Cat thing is coming out, though. I forget what it's called. Austin, originally when Jurassic World was coming out, we were going to watch Merlin, but then I found out it was 3 hours long. Yeah, I think it was a show at some point, but it was this TV movie that everyone watched. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. Oh, wait. Just naked HD. How would your cats react if you dabbed in front of them? I don't think they would care. One of them is asleep on the couch. They don't notice me. I don't care. I like epilepsies. I barely know the bubble exists. Hey, Alnick. Favorite of the sex butt comments this stream. What's the most iconic and lovable of our streams? Scrappy Doo. It is the Scrappy Doo of the stream. Zane Powers, can you put on a Joker voice and talk about society? Wouldn't you sound so smart? Oh my god. I love when people do that. I like when people think the Joker is a smart movie. That's the other thing. Nathaniel Foga, best Disney Plus that isn't The Mandalorian. Oh, that's interesting. I do really like Ms. Marvel. I liked Obi-Wan alright. That was fine. The Luke plotline could have gone. Bluey. Let's just say Bluey. Bluey. Avatar 2 will be Tom Cruise's space movie in disguise. I hope so. You're saying, what did it used to taste like? It tastes like pure sugar. That tastes like bad sugar. Wow. I like all the deep cut references we're getting tonight. Is Naked Brother Band still blocked by the Violator chip from Spawn? Yes, it is. Okay, I think we're almost... Have you seen RRR from Natbox 64? No, but I believe I'm going to soon. I want to, and I would like to review as well. Question from Cornbread. When he shows up to his court trial, do you think he's going to be like, this whole trial's out of order. I'll put you back with hazelnuts too. Caramel swirl, I know it was you. I started reading that without realizing how it ended. I hope Robert Smigel does. Ted Stone said that John Lasseter hated the Buzz Lightyear. Oh, that's not a Disney play because of it. Okay. So it's like getting back. I understand what you're saying now. Maybe. I think it's just like they thought of a cool way to like do a different kind of concept, but tied into it. But maybe it didn't work well with it. Anyway. Dunkin'. Oh, okay. We have a Nathaniel Foga super chat said, I saw a VHS Maryland today at the con I was at. Oh, cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga. I hope you're having fun at your con, by the way. All right. I really wanted to get as many, but it's kind of getting late. Let me do a couple more. Same Powers is not showing anything Wakanda Forever, the same scenario of not showing anything from No Way Home for so long. I hope so, but nobody seems to feel that way except me. Any other entertainment reporter is like, I don't know. There's so much going against that movie. You know, like, what went right with that movie? Chan talks this shit. You don't. Do you think the Monsters Rob Zombie has any potential? Very shocked it was PG. I do. I'm curious about it, but I don't think it's the brand that Adam's Family is. I really don't. I really don't. But I think he likes it enough that it could do something. But if it's like fun, family-friendly stuff, people are more into that now than they used to be. So I think it could work out for him. It'd be interesting to see him become like a family director for just the monsters. Last question. Did you see how the giant rat got into the salty DK dance smash? I didn't. You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Nice, Rodwell. Discount. What WWD wrestler most of there's a biopic? I barely know those guys, but I'll see Dr. Lou Albano. I think that's everything. We're ending 2 minutes late, I guess. That's better than you. Yeah. But I want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for liking Film Rot. I was like, maybe this is really stupid. Actually, Sophie likes Film Rot video, which is not something I expected. But I want to thank you all for your support. Thank you all for everything. All the super chats were very appreciated. All your likes, everyone who subscribed, everyone who uses the Patreon, but everyone who's been just chilling this whole time and waiting and came out tonight. That's really cool of all of you. So thank you very much. I think we have a lot of cool stuff coming. And thank you for being here. I will see you all next Saturday. We'll be back next Saturday at least. And we'll do this all again. I'll probably have a Shrek segment. But yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's it. You all have a good night. And I will see you all next time. And get some rest, everybody. Get some rest. I feel like we all have a lot of work to do. Definitely. All right. Have a good night. Peace. Bye.